Welcome to the Condo and Townhome update for the Las Vegas residential resale market. I am Justin Miller with the Chong Miller Group. At the Chong Miller Group, we help people buy and sell homes, including condos and townhomes. In this video, I want to give you the market update, looking at condos and townhomes, the two segments of the multifamily residential market here in the Valley. And I'm going to dive right into this. Remember, this is the companion video for the regular market update that I do every month, where I look at single family residential resale. And in that video, I give some additional macro analysis about what's going on in the environment to help make the numbers in the real estate market more contextually meaningful. Please feel free, go look at that market update for single family residential. That has that information for you. I don't want to repeat it here because it just makes this video longer and makes me talking longer and spending more time on editing, doing the same thing over and over again. So I try to limit the multifamily market video to a little bit more discreetly focused on just the numbers for the two housing segments, condos and townhomes. Now, this video I'm recording from data captured on October 7th. I'm recording this on the 8th of October. Remember, the data is from the month prior, so September of 2022, and that data is compared then to the prior month, so August 2022 to September 2022, and to the prior year, September 21 to September of 2022. Some of the data is forward-looking, and so I mentioned that as we go through it, but the data themselves have been generated over the month of September. All right, let's dive into the condo segment first. How did condo prices hold up when presumably they're collapsing and the market is crashing and everybody is running for the hills or caves or wherever they run to? Condo pricing for the month of September, resale in the Las Vegas Valley, $227,000 at the median. Now that's down. It's down 1.5% from $230,500, or down $3,500 from the prior month. So not a very big drop, but a drop nonetheless, of 1.5% give back. However, if we look year over year, so from September 2021 through September 2022, we're up 13.5% for condos, from $200,000 to $227,000. Now, by the way, that 13.5% increase, 12-month year over year increase, that's as opposed to in the single family residential market, where that same time frame we had an 8.6% increase in pricing. Now, another way that I look at this number have over the past couple of months is what's been going on sort of year to date, so during the year of 2022. So we started 2022, January 1st, at $215,000. So we're up $12,000 from that at the median. That's up 2.6% year to date. So for the past, this is the 10th month of the year that we've just gone into, October. This is the 10th video of the year that I've done consequently. And in each of these 10 videos, I've commented that the background news, and especially social media, has been talking about how prices have been collapsing. Everything's been going down 50%. We need to be paying attention to it. Everybody's going to be moving into caves because no one can afford to live in housing and everything's going broke. Hasn't happened. We're actually up from the beginning of the year, January 1st, through the end of September. So for the first 3 quarters of 2022, we're up 2.6% year to date. And we're up 13.5% year over year. Not bad when everything was supposed to be collapsing, crashing, horrible, horrible things going on has not come to pass, is not going to come to pass. We're going to see more of the same going forward. A pretty stable market, and we're not seeing prices dropping at any kind of significant rate. Now, that's maybe easier said than done, especially if nobody's actually buying any condos. And we can just price it whatever we want because no one's buying. Well, are there any condo sales taking place? Yes, there are. 272 condos sold in the month of September. Now, it sounds like a small number. In fact, the number of condos that get sold in any month is a relatively small number because that's not the bulk of the market here. But 272 is down. It's definitely down. It's down 20.1% from where we were in August at 344. August's number was kind of about normal. Why did September fall? It fell because late in the month, everything slowed down further because the Fed increased interest rates by another 75 basis points or 0.75%. And sort of spooked the market there in the last week and a half of the month. And if you lay out a month and you look sort of day by day through the calendar, the last week of the month is the most consequential week in terms of the actual sales activity that takes place. So the other 3 weeks of a month, a little bit less challenging, a little bit less normally highly productive. It's that last week, and that last week was sort of really clobbered with the Fed's decision. And so that slowed down closings and canceled some of the closings that would otherwise have taken place in September. So 272 sold. What about for sale? And this is where it starts to get interesting because we start to look a little bit forward in time. If something's not for sale, it's hard to sell it. If something is for sale, it could sell, and it could sell in the future. So for sale now means potentially something that gets sold in the future. So how many units, condo units, are actually for sale at the end of September? 1,164. Now, the reason that's interesting is because that's down. It's down 5.2% from the 1,228 that were for sale at the end of August. We're coming down in inventory, and for the past couple months, I've suggested we're sitting on a trajectory that's going to be reducing inventory. And what caused substantial increases in pricing in 2020 and 2021? Yes, lots of demand, but low inventory was very key to that scenario. As inventory comes down, and we're down 5.2% month over month, we're going to see pricing pressures rematerialize. That's going to put a floor under pricing. Now, of course, we're down substantially from where we were last year when we had extremely little inventory. We've got 60.1% more than the 723 condos that were listed for sale last year. That number, that statistic is kind of meaningless because we're comparing not off anything that's normal, not off anything that's sort of averaged over time, but off a data point that itself was extremely skewed. So inventory of condos for sale, 1,164, down 5.2% from where we were in August. And by the way, the number 1,164, approximately 80% of normal inventory. So if we think about normal inventory as being kind of a balanced market, not really preferring buyers or sellers, but sort of balanced, we're below balanced. We're skewed toward a seller's market. Now, much less so than was the case last year. And so some people are misrecognizing and mischaracterizing how much strength buyers have in this market. If you're a buyer and your agent's out there telling you, hey, you're going to get big discount, you're going to get closing cost contributions, you're going to get all sorts of agreements on all these give backs, that agent's actually harming you and your ability to engage in a deal. You need to be working with somebody who's reasonable and understands what's going on in the market so that you're actually asking for things that are appropriate. You might be able to get a little discount on the price. You might be able to get some closing cost contribution. You're probably not going to get both of those things, right? And there's actually consequences to you which one of those you pick, whether you take a closing cost contribution or you take a discount on the purchase price. One of those has significantly more value than the other of those. And it may vary depending on your circumstances, but in reality, one of those has much more value to you than the other one does, and you should ask your agent to explain that to you. And if they can't, you ought to be talking to a new agent. Come talk with us, we'll explain it to you, and we can get you into a great deal looking for great properties, and we can help you a lot with that. Now, what about new into market, right? Houses, condos, townhomes, whatever, come into the market and then they sit in inventory and then they get sold. So a new listing, not a new construction, but a new listing of a resale residential unit, 441 in the month of September that came into the market. That's down. It's down substantially. It's down 20.7% from the 556 new into market in the month of August. It's interestingly, it's down from the 521 new into market in September of 2021 when we started seeing new inventory coming into the market as people were starting to get concerned about what might go on with interest rates during the year of 2022. So we're actually down 15.4% from the newly listed that we saw last year relative to the newly listed we've seen this year in the month of September. So inventory is down and new listings are down. That means that the trend I had suggested was going to fall into place probably in the month of September has actually arrived. We are seeing inventory and new listings, newly listed inventory, trending down. Now, what does that do with demand? Demand is the other side of the equation. I'm not saying demand is picking up significantly at the moment. I am saying the supply side is becoming challenging again. Challenging in the sense that we're losing supply in the marketplace. If we lose supply and demand goes up even a little bit, we're going to see prices headed higher. Will demand go higher? Yes, absolutely it will, for a variety of reasons. We do have the normal seasonal slowdown that takes place in November and December of every year. And with the Fed's action in late September, as well as signaling 2 more rate increases this year alone, it's possible that October is actually weaker than if the Fed had sort of sat pat on its hands. They're tightening the market further. They're restricting monetary availability further. And so we might see October coming in weaker than I otherwise would have expected. October is normally a pretty decent month. So we'll see how October plays out on the demand side. On the supply side, we're going to see more constraints emerging in October and probably through the remainder of the year. Condo inventory is getting tight and it's headed, frankly, for a normally functioning market, it's headed in the wrong way. It's headed down. And that means we're going to see substantial pricing pressures re-entering the market on the upside, not on the downside. Prices are not collapsing. They're stable, right? We're down 1.5% month over month. They're not collapsing. They're stable. And we're going to start to see pricing going higher. Again, that might not materialize until the beginning of the year. It may not happen during the fourth quarter of 2022, but we're seeing stable prices. We're not seeing any kind of collapse, and that'll be true certainly through the end of 2022. Now, one other number I want to mention here is back on market. Back on market had been slowly trending down over the past several months, and I had suggested that was both good and to be expected. Well, that sort of slightly reversed course here. We had 166 condos that had gone into contract, become pending, that came back into the market. Those contracts collapsed. That is up from the prior month. We were at 38% of all contracts collapsed. That is up from 32.5% that had collapsed in August. So why did more pending contracts for condos collapse in September than in August? I suspect it had to do with bad appraisals again, where appraisers are being highly influenced by the news media and in particular by social media, and they think everything must be collapsing and therefore condo prices are going down, and in reality condo prices are not going down. Appraisers should be identifying market dynamics as stable and pricing is stable. And if they're thinking that prices are going down, they're marking down prices in an appraisal, and that's making it difficult and maybe impossible to close the financing gap. And so that eliminates the ability to close, cancels a contract, results in it back on market. If you're a seller, make sure you're working with an agent who understands A, how to price your property appropriately, and then B, how to make sure you get through the appraisal strongly so you don't risk that contract from a bad appraisal. And if you've got an agent who's not able to help you with that, maybe it's time you find a different agent. Again, please feel free to reach out to us at the Chong Miller Group. We represent buyers. We also represent sellers, and we do a really good job of getting contracts that stay in place through close of escrow and getting actual closed sales for the seller and for the buyer. All right. So please smash the like button, subscribe, and now let's move on to townhomes. In the townhome market, we saw median sale price come down. Now, the prior month, price had been exactly flat, so we did see some decrease in pricing in the month of September. We came down $5,000 from $320 at the end of August to $315 at the end of September. That is a drop of 1.6%. So actually very much in line with condos, very much in line also with single-family houses, where single-family houses last month fell by 1.1%. So there's going to be fluctuation across segments every single month. Some months, some segments will be a little stronger, some will be a little weaker, and that varies every single month for a great many reasons, including just randomality of the actual contracts that are written during a particular month, the inventory that happens to exist, the quality of that inventory, etc. So prices came down 1.6% month over month. Are they collapsing? No, very stable. And in fact, same kind of dynamics that we saw in both single family and condos with regard to year over year and year to date. So year over year, since September of 2021, when the median price was $290,000, we're up $25,000 or 8.6%. And year to date, January 1st through September 30th, we're up from $307,000 or $8,000. We're up 2.6% year to date. So in a year where prices were supposedly going to be collapsing, falling by at least 50%, according to many of the prognosticators out there, those preaching doom and gloom all over the internet on blogs and videos and vlogs, as well as those who pick up and repeat that crap, frankly, in the local real media and the national real media, horribly depressing, disconcerting, scary stuff out there. None of it has come to pass. None of it is coming to pass. None of it will come to pass. You know, there's a lot of people out there who just really want to be the person who made the outlandish claim that when it comes to pass, everyone looks at them and says, oh, they were the one who called the crash, right? It's much more interesting than being the one who called for stability. Well, I called for stability, and maybe that wasn't particularly interesting. That's actually what we've got. My predictions have been correct about this market, about each of the market segments. about what's going on in this market with regard to pricing. Frankly, I thought the market would be a little bit stronger in terms of unit sales, so I'm off a little bit on that. But we've seen stability in this market. And so I've not been wrong on those calls. Now, what about units sold? 217 townhomes sold during the month of September of 2022. That's down. It's down from 255 or 14.9%. Now, on a percentage term, on percentage terms, that sounds pretty consequential, 14.9%. Remember, though, we get so few townhomes sold in any month in Las Vegas that each townhome itself contributes over half of 1%. So we are down from 255 to 217. So we're down 38 townhomes from the prior month. That's it. Right, so it's actually not a very big drop in terms of numbers, absolute numbers of units that were sold. Now we are down, of course, very substantially from the strongest year in the history of sales of townhomes in the Las Vegas Valley. We're down 40.1% from 362 in September of 2021. No surprise there. What about for sale townhomes? Remember, we saw inventory of condos coming down. We also saw inventory of single family homes coming down in September. Well, in townhomes, we also came down. We had 810 townhomes for sale at the end of September. We had 821 townhomes for sale at the end of August. So we came down 11 townhomes or 1.3%. By the way, total inventory, what we just talked about, that 810, we're below normal. We're about 90% of normal inventory for townhomes for sale. So we're not in a buyer's market. We're in a pretty balanced market right now between buyers and sellers. It may feel quite different because last year was such an extreme seller's market, but in reality, we're in a pretty balanced market for townhomes right now. Neither side, buyer nor seller, has extensive market power vis-a-vis the other in this market. It's pretty balanced, at least as it relates to inventory. Now, newly listed townhomes also have come down. They've come down to 331 from 456 the prior month. That's a really big drop, actually. That's 27.4%. Fewer townhomes were listed in September than listed in August. And that number then comes in actually significantly below normal. So our inventory, our fixed number of townhomes sitting there waiting to be sold, is coming down, and it's lower than normal. And our newly listed townhomes just dropped substantially below normal. We're down 27.4% from the prior month. We're down actually even from the number of newly listed townhomes in September of 2021. We're down 10.8% from 371. We're down 40 townhomes newly listed into the market from last year. So inventory is down, new into market are down. We are starting to see the rematerialization of a supply constraint, a supply-induced problem in this market that will cause prices to go up. Why haven't prices gone up? Well, clearly demand is down right now. And until demand turns around, we're probably not seeing prices headed higher. We're probably seeing just stable prices. But clearly, we're not seeing prices collapsing. Why? In part because we're seeing inventory coming down. We've got a supply constraint that is real, and it's supporting prices that exist in the market at this time. When will we see prices turn around? When we see demand come back into the marketplace. I don't know exactly when that'll happen. It may not be until Q1, the beginning part of 2023, but we're not seeing demand evaporate right now. We are just seeing a slower sales cycle, and that's supportive of stable pricing. Now that one additional data point, back on market, 114 back on market townhomes during the month of September. That is up a little bit. We are at 34.4% of contracts coming back into the market. That is up from 31.5% of contracts for townhomes coming back into the market in the month of September relative to the month of August. Now, again, that's being caused by some bad appraisals. There are other issues that are taking place, of course, as interest rates go up. It may be harder for a buyer to close a contract because they may lose their approval from a bank. They may no longer be able to qualify for the same size of loan. Some buyers are just being scared by what's being reported in the media, social media and official media, about how terrible things are and how they're going to keep getting worse and everybody's going to become broke and everyone's going to become laid off and et cetera, et cetera. It's just BS. It's not happening. As interest rates go up, that slows the pace of money changing hands, the multiplier effect in the economy. It represents a tightening of monetary policy, as well as an increase in the expenditures required to actually carry on a monthly basis the mortgage that one would have been carrying when they buy a property. And so it becomes more expensive. But interest rates are not historically high. They're actually historically slightly below normal still now. We're going to see interest rates approximately stable through the rest of the year in the mortgage marketplace. As I said in my single family update, you should be shopping for mortgage loans because there's a significant variation in what banks are charging for interest right now. And if your realtor can't help you with that, find a realtor instead who can. And you can reach out to us at the Chong Miller Group. We would love to help you. Again, I am Justin Miller with the Chong Miller Group. Give us a call. We help people buy and sell homes, including condos and townhomes. Thank you.